timeless or the long-term impact because I'm too young to copy or chase the lifetime thing. But I think it'll really help me for my 30s and my 40s to know this.
It sounds like what you're saying is that by surrounding yourself with artists, many of whom are dead, and yet whose legacy continues today, you create a benchmark, a kind of visual benchmark around yourself for what it is you're trying to achieve. I guess I have to ask the question, do you imagine one day that there'll be a Namjoon Kim private museum in Korea?
So, museum itself is really complicated, right? They need the curators and the exhibition. This is my first time actually saying this, but seriously, I'm planning to make a small space of my own private collection and just make the cafe in first floor and set up my collections in second floor and third floor. Just people could always see the collections when they just wanted to see them. Because when people come to Korea,
we're getting something, guys.
It happens for the Koreans too. We cannot see the great Korean artists because there are not many museums right now. There are not many galleries right now. So I just wanted to make my own sometime.
It's interesting. Obviously, social media is a big part of our lives now. And with your social media power and the fact that you post a lot on Instagram, for example, of artworks, of museums, do you have the sense that people follow you, that when you go to a museum, when you show the work of an artist, your fans are then going to see those museums or then curious about those artists? You have this capacity to amplify almost anything that you publicly associate yourself with.
I'm so grateful for the fans. They admired my posts and the taste.
They go there, I'm pretty
I think myself as my Instagram account and the post is kind of like a curation already. Because I always upload the posts that I really liked about the exhibition or the museum or a site or a gallery. And people, the fans, visit after me when I post it. And it's really great that people could love one's taste and actually be there, visit the museums and see the arts. And when 300 people see the same artwork, they have 300 different feelings. So
exactly.
Someday I just
the way
wish
he
to maybe share
explaining and describing,
and of course my collection too later.
To broaden out the conversation a little bit, whether you're looking at BTS or the film Parasite or Squid Games or Dansekwa, the movement from the 70s, which became very prominent 4 or 5 years ago in the market, it's been a very strong moment on the global cultural scene for Korean culture. And I'm curious if you have any thoughts as to why that is.
So Korea is a strange and unique and interesting country because we had the horrible war in 1950s, divided into the north and south. It's a really small country. In 60s, we were a country who gets support by the other nations. But 50 years later, we have changed the positions by supportive to a supporter. So Koreans, I cannot guarantee the characteristics of it. I cannot define it, but as a one Korean, I guess we have the passion inside and we have our actually energy and some specific spirit. We call it Han in Korea. I don't know how we could say in English, but after the war and the victimizing of our parents and the grandparents, those time, 70 years made the 2022 of Korea right now, I guess.
So for you, this is kind of a delayed impact, which led to this kind of focus and
really got a lot of benefits and advantages from the new media, the YouTube, Netflix, specifically the social media, because all we could do is just push this button and the remote and turn to Netflix and we could see the whole series of Korean dramas or movies. So I think it makes a premium and a brand. So when people have interest about the Korean made thing, I think people could, okay, I like to watch some Korean thing. And I think it's really amazing, and that's the power of a culture, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting is that Korea as a cultural brand in and of itself is strong now. The fact that something is Korean makes people pay attention to it, which is a very interesting and new development, I think.
Right. So I feel the flow, and I feel a lot of responsibility as a one person in this big flow.
So talking more specifically, when you were introduced to hip hop, it was an American import to Korea.
Of course.
And now, 12, 15 years later, you're part of a major Korean import to America. So there's been a reversal of that. Is it strange to you that people who don't speak Korean are huge fans of yours, and that you're being asked to do features with Lil Nas X?
This is really interesting, guys. I really love this interviewer. I mean, the way he's asking those questions, huge shout out to this interviewer. I mean, he's asking some good questions. I'm not gonna lie, some good, amazing questions, and I'm pretty sure Namjoon likes it because the way he's answering those questions, I'm pretty sure he's liking all these questions.
This is a completely different thing. Now, Korean culture is spreading to America, which is where all this stuff came from.
It's really odd because we never expected this. And we never knew that there's going to be a YouTube world or Netflix world in 2022. I didn't expect it at all. When we go to America or Europe, what they mostly surprised about us is the concerts, because there are lots of stadiums and we usually do 4 sold-out shows in the stadium, and there are a really few artists in total, including all of the American and European artists, to be able to make 4 sold-out stadium shows in America or Europe or in Asia. So they like, who is BTS and how could they do 4 sold-out stadium shows? Who are they? It's like, so I think it's really, I don't know, it's still odd. It's still odd to us. I act like a musician, I act like a star on the stage, but under the stage when I come to Korea or when I come back to my small studio, I'm just a collector. I just go to Art Prize or ArtNet and search the news and just eat some bulgogis with my friends. That's all for me, for my most life.
Such a simple person
it's
he
still
is.
odd and strange for me because I'm just a countryman in some small country called Korea. Still.
I mean, guys. People like him. I mean, we see like in the US, people at his age, like they do clubs and stuff, and he's calling himself a countryman, and they're just calling himself a simple man. Maybe I'm a BTS leader. He's the leader of BTS, the biggest boy band probably the world ever seen, and he's talking in this way. This is, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is incredible. He's such a special person. RM is such a special person, guys. I'm not gonna lie, RM is so special to me. I mean, the reason why I fell in love with BTS for the first time in 2016, it was because of it was because of BTS RM, Namjoon, our Kim Namjoon, and this is incredible, the way he speaks about everything. It's wow, I'm getting goosebumps, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's really different type of thing, so out, but it's really fun, and I feel so lucky to experience this whole 2 different types of lives. It's like making a movie, shooting a movie.
Yeah. A lot of artists, when they become popular, when they start to have a lot of engagement, when they start to have a lot of attention, need to change the way in which they create. And I'm curious, how do you nurture your creative process? What are your tricks? What are your rituals? How do you find a room to create when obviously everybody wants you just to perform all the time?
I really want myself to be calm, and I just want to make my music not caring about the other factors, I guess. The thing is that being a team member, it does mean that we have to sacrifice our own soul or our own personality. We have to cut it out because there are 7 personalities, and we were 19 or 18 when we started as a team, but now we're almost 30. We became men and adults, so we have the different characters or maybe some different future visions. But BTS is still really important for me, and it's the biggest part of me. But keeping this intensity as a team, make me easy to forget who I was and why I started this thing. And I just want to remind and reminisce myself as why I started this. What can I do with my own thing? So for my 30s, I just want to figure out the way to exist like a halfway for the BTS member and leader RM, and maybe just the Namjoon Kim himself, I guess.
I think that's a great place to end this interview. But of course, we have our 2 signature questions.
Oh yeah.
The first one is, what is the first artwork that you remember seeing?
It was Monet's The Lunch. I don't think it's the actual first work I've seen, of course, but that's the first crush for me to meet the art world for me.
And then what's the last artwork that moved you and why?
It's not the specific artwork, but it's the artist. It's Philip Gostin. I felt really attractive to his pink-red colors for the first time, but I didn't know he started his career as one of the abstract expressionism with Rothko Apollo. He was one of the important member of the team, but not like the others. He bravely changed his whole world. I've heard that many people laughed at him, oh, why did you change it? You betrayed. But I think if he didn't change his style, I think he could remain just one of the members of the abstract expressionism, like one of the friend of Pollock or Rothko. But because he changed his style and he bravely encountered,
he knows everything about that artist,
the traumas of his young life, he could be Gostin himself. He's just Philip Gostin, not like the member of some trend or some time. I'm just so impressed that he did it, because it's so different with his 50s and 70s.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I'm not sure if you're conscious of it, but it actually loops back to a lot of themes we talked about. The notion of, if you're popular, if you're part of a movement, what do you do to become unique? What do you do to create a legacy? What do you do to sustain your impact on the world?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that was wonderful. What a great way to end. Thank you so much for all the time and for speaking to us from the heart.
That's it.
Thank you for listening to Intersections.
That is the end of this. Guys, I don't know what to say about the whole interview. I made it 2-part, but I will eventually upload the full video. But this is absolutely brilliant. My respect for Namjoon, the way he speaks about art. I mean, it shows his passion. As I said, like, people at his age, they do stuffs like a lot of negative stuff, especially when they become very popular. But seeing him doing all these things, it's absolutely pleasure. Like, it's so pleasing to my eyes. It's so, because I follow him on Instagram and I follow every single post of whatever he posts. I follow everything, and I really want to visit those places because it's interesting. I really love the way Namjoon does everything, and I think I need to make some more like this kind of videos, and like RM's videos, like solo videos. And it's wow, the whole interview meant a lot for me. That's why I was just listening. I wasn't saying anything. Usually I say a lot of things in between when I watch a video, but RM's, my respect for RM is huge, if you guys don't know. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I really liked that. I really loved the whole video. It was incredible. It was truly incredible interview. I really loved the whole interview. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you guys liked this video, then smash the like button. Comment down below. Guys, we're back in with another video. So guys, tell us to have a great day. Bye guys, I love you all.